This week on Reel Watchlist plus sleazy, sexy films with the bopper of all of them, Caligula. 2 renditions from 1979 and 2023 remastered. A dramatization of the ascent of Caesar and subsequent reign of Caligula in pagan Rome 37 AD, who was one of the most notorious leaders of ancient Rome, who channeled the empire into depravity, devastation, and madness in a period of just 2 years. And he was only 24 when he was emperor.
I'm going to be dressed up as the Roman Empire Caligula.
I'm a senator's wife because I would be Drusilla, his sister, who he had incestuous relationships with. But because of the outfit I have, and I didn't want to wear it from another thing that we did in silent films, I am a senator's wife. And the big wild scene in Caligula is when all the senators' wives get together for an orgy.
So I need to start off by saying we have 2 drinks in honor of Drusilla, who was Caligula's sister, and Caligula himself. Today we're having the Bacchus Elixir and the Imperial Spritz. The Bacchus Elixir is a deep red wine with a little bit of Amaro and to sweeten it up, a little honey syrup. Ooh. And with the Drusilla's drink, we have some white wine, club soda to spritz it up and give it some effervescence, and a little bit of bitterness to represent the bitterness of this movie. So,
and a sprig of rosemary.
And as every
Roman
Empire would do, a little bit of rosemary.
And of course, we have these giant robes on that are like not flame resistant.
And this is not working like I thought it would work. But anyway, we're going to give you a little bit of smoke. Deb, I'm going to set your house on fire.
My robe on fire.
This reminds me of Michael Jackson burning his hair on that Pepsi commercial.
Well, I guess I got to take a sip of it. Well, let's do our clink.
Cheers.
To set this episode off. Okay. What's in mine besides wine?
It is a little bit of white wine, some seltzer, some club soda.
And some
A little bit
poison.
of strega to give it a little sweetness. And here, Debbie.
Is that poison?
As every Roman emperor has done in history, we're going to poison you with a little bit of sparkle in your drink to give that Drusilla drink a little bit of
I like that.
shine.
Okay, I'm drinking again. Now this one I can drink. So 3 in a row, I'll be on the floor. Okay.
And while I drink this vinegar, you can have your spritz. You got a salad, anyone?
Vinegar?
Producers, you got some lettuce?
Why is it vinegar?
Nasty. Okay, because we're on a tight budget, let's be honest. I got some shitty wine that's been sitting here for probably 10, 20 years. And I'm thinking, okay, because my husband loves a good wine, he didn't want me to touch any of his. So needless to say,
and mine's been in my refrigerator since the Christmas party.
3, 2, 1, flip. Wow, a little bit lower than me.
I've been riding the rails on these
but
3.
I got to clarify something. So there's 2 versions. There's the version that came out in 79, 80, depending on where you lived in the world at the time.
Yes.
And a newer one that was released in the theaters, actually, in 2024, re-release. So the thing is, with me, the new version worked, the old version didn't. So I didn't get a chance to see again the old version. So with this version by Draft House Films, takes scenes and sort of reimagines it with some new scenes, gets rid of a lot of the porn, not all of it, but a lot of the porn that Guccione had put in there.
And the 3 versions are completely different, the same thematic material, the same actors, but the definition, and maybe we should go into, and later on we'll go into the cast because this really affected the cast in crazy ways. Okay, 1979 version, which I saw in theaters, everybody ran to see this thing because it was supposed to be porn in a movie theater. It actually, back then maybe it was because we never saw anything like that.
I disagree that it was
The
porn.
thing that was different between the 79 version and the current version is, besides it being remastered and the color correction and the scenes put together a little bit better, the first version has Caligula nuts right from the very beginning. The second version, Guccione, we will go into this more, snuck in at night and put real porno, like major oral sex scenes and cunnilingus and all this stuff in.
So when she's saying Guccione, let's let the viewers know. Right. Bob Guccione, who owned Penthouse magazine. So if you're not familiar with Penthouse, if you knew Playboy, it was its competitor. And if you knew both magazines, while Playboy tried to be more sophisticated and art-like, Penthouse was harder.
Yeah, it was a harder core and less articles that people read.
But it made him a millionaire. I mean, he did extremely well.
And the third version, of course, is its cleaned up version, which is more historically, supposedly accurate, more strung together, less wild, horrific sex, and more about the character. So that's the three, kind of basic, the three different versions.
Right. So I saw the last version. I saw the original version many moons ago. With me, it was something that I remember seeing on the marquee, Caligula, and they had midnight showings. So it was a little bit of a risque place to be to go see that movie because people were watching who's going to that theater.
I didn't realize until I just watched the three versions now. So I watched like 12 hours of Caligula, which my eyeballs were falling out of my head. But I didn't know back in the day, I didn't know Helen Mirren, that she was in this thing until now. And the whole thing about Caligula was, if people, it's really interesting Roman history. And he was just so crazy. But it really is, she is naked as a jaybird, and I was surprised how Zoftic her figure was.
Zoftic, another Scrabble word that I need to learn.
That's an unctuous figure. Like, she really was developed. She had big hips, breeding hips. She had a big boob. She was really all out there.
So let's set the stage for the movie. You enter the movie looking at these incredible sets of the Roman Empire. It immediately reminded me of D.W. Griffith's Intolerance. It was budget breaking, it was grand. I mean, to me, that was appealing. It sort of brought me into it. And Malcolm McDowell, he plays Caligula. And if you know anything about Roman history, he does this phenomenal job of portraying this crazy, powerful, off the wall representation of this Roman Empire. So to me, that was something that just immediately drew me in. But then there were things that didn't draw me in too. You get into the whole thing of sex. You get into scenes where this massive orgy scene.
Well, Malcolm McDowell, too, the main character, plays Caligula. Of course, we remember him from Clockwork Orange, where he was totally crazy. And he has a look that looks crazy in a way. It's like he's this offbeat type of leading man that has a weird look to him. And so he was really perfect for this. But the thing about this, it had big legitimate actors in it.
I mean, you're talking about Sir John Gielgud. And, I'm watching him. It's funny because I don't think he ever aged. I think he always looked the way he looks. Right. He was always old looking. Peter O'Toole, who's known to have had a few drinks before doing a set, but he actually said he told the director that he was dry. He wasn't drinking. But as John Gielgud had said that he thought he was hitting the wacky tobacco.
Yeah, well, that's what Malcolm McDowell said. He'd go into his dressing room one way and he'd come out another.
And if you do watch the film in the beginning scenes, especially because that's when Peter O'Toole appears, you can actually see he looks like kind of stoned out.
And it was a shame because think of Lawrence of Arabia, how beautiful he was. He destroyed his looks. He was always an alcoholic. He was always a crazy person. And he plays Tiberius, who is Malcolm McDowell's uncle, Caligula's uncle. And Tiberius was equally as bad an emperor as Caligula. He loved decadence, he loved strange things. And I had read, even as an aside with Caligula, that he used to smear like fish stuff on his genitals and swim and put fish in the water, and they would all like nip at his genitals, and that was one of his erotic things. So ancient Rome was very, very decadent, and it was very homosexual. It really was. The baths, the Roman baths, they were just like anything goes, and so did the Greeks. I love Roman history, but Caligula he started out as a really good emperor, but he got, God knows what they were doing as far as drinking and drugs and potions they were doing. He went off the deep end.
And from a historical perspective, You're right. For the first 6 months of his rule, people loved him. He was having these gladiator battles. He was entertaining the public. He was giving things to the public, and then he went sort of off into like the area of solitude. Like for a good month, you didn't see him, or as history reports.
He was very paranoid.
And he comes out of it as this paranoid, insane, mentally, psychotic individual. Many believe that it was because how he was treated. Now you have to remember, this emperor that he grew up with, that took him under his wing, killed his parents, killed his whole family, except for him and Drusilla. They were gone, and the public knew this, and Caligula's father was well-liked, well-respected, and no one in the Roman Empire, no resident, no senators, stood up for him.
Right.
So he knew to survive, he had to keep quiet, had to play along. So it was thought that he snapped, that he said, screw the Roman Empire, the citizens, they didn't support me, I'm the god now, I'm the one in charge.
And he actually believed he was a god. He did.
And I thought the film did a good job of that. I thought McDowell's acting, he was insane. He was really it was a bit drawn out though, because I was like,
Gore Vidal, who was a big writer, people probably, even if you don't know his work, and you probably know his name, he wrote the script for this, and he had it done a whole different way. He was shocked when the movie came out because he wanted to show the progression of Caligula from the time he was a young boy, because he was a very young boy, into having absolute power. And in Rome, everything was ruled by fear. There were great emperors, very few, but then there were tyrannical emperors, and everybody was terrified to even blink wrong because they'd be killed.
Right. I thought the scene that was probably two scenes that were the most shocking, and I'm going to talk about one of them, was the wedding scene. When Caligula appears at the wedding, and the bride and groom are getting married, and they got married, and all of a sudden Caligula takes both of them, the new bride and groom, and the bride is a virgin, into a different room and rapes the wife.
Right. First night.
Sodomizes, kind of.
The guy.
It was disturbing. It was, but it was also like part of those, why are we going there?
Well, I think, and the other scene that really freaked me out was the one with the heads getting cut off, where they buried the guy, and the guy was beautiful, the one soldier, and they buried him up to his head, and then they had this giant thing that they built for the set.
It was almost like a Colosseum looking.
A lawnmower blade that's underneath your lawnmower that comes and cuts the heads off. That was freaky.
I think Guccione wanted to make a film that elevated pornography. In his mind, he was going to make a large-scale film using sex, flesh, porn, his penthouse women in the scenes to promote his penthouse magazine and his penthouse empire. And in essence, he tried to elevate the cachet of doing pornography by having these great actors and actresses. And it ended up being this controversial flop. I mean, the behind the scenes of the movie were actually more intriguing than actually the movie itself.
Yes.
So if you're gonna watch this movie, that's one thing, but really the real tea, the real gossip is what happened behind the scenes.
But at the time, the movie was the most expensive independent movie ever made. And to this day, it remains the most expensive and highest grossing adult film ever made, which amazes me. But then again, I was thinking Deep Throat because everybody saw that. But no, this was on a higher level. This was more screens that it was released on across the country. And I didn't realize that John Gielgud was gay. But do you know his quote, what he said when he went on the set?
No.
He met Malcolm McDowell after he went on the set, and he said, "Oh, it's so wonderful. I've never seen so much C-O-C-K in my whole life." And I'm not going to say the word. I'm just going to say to spell it.
Spell it out. But you're right. The budget was $17.5 million. It made $23 million for it being censored in different parts of the world. In the United States, it made $23 million. It was a financial success in countries like France, Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands. And you're like, why? Are they more into sexual stuff.
Yeah, I
or
think
maybe
so.
more accepting.
I think so. And Roger Ebert said that he walked out during the brothel boat orgy sequence with the senators' wives, and he said, "It's a sickening, utterly worthless, shameful trash, the worst film I've ever seen. People with talent allow themselves to participate in this travesty. I give it 0 stars." Roger Ebert hated the movie. And of course, the more you hate something and the more controversy, the more people run to see it. It's just human nature in America.
So let's talk about the tea behind the scenes. You have Guccione, who can't find, quote, the right director, actually ends up finding one, doesn't have much of a record.
No.
Tinto Brass.
Right.
And they're getting into the film, and then Gore Vidal, when he sees how the film is turning out. Now, Gore Vidal made this more of a screenplay catered to a homosexual theme.
Yes.
Rather than what Guccione wanted. Guccione had pretty much nothing to do with the gay lives of
No, he
the Roman
wanted
Empire.
his girls exploited.
He wanted his showgirls, his penthouse girls showcased.
Right.
You had, these set designers from Italy spending a lot of money, a lot of time because he wanted that certain look. Vidal pulls out. He's like, I want nothing to do with this, take my name off the credits. Even Tinto Brass butts heads with Guccione to the point where Guccione was so pissed about how the movie came out, he re-edited it, as you mentioned, threw in a lot of his sex scenes with his girls and took the equipment and threw it out in the street and locked the doors. So, okay, Tinto Brass, this is your equipment? Well, hey, shove it, you're done.
And they didn't know he did it. So he premiered his version in Massachusetts, and everybody was just agog. They couldn't believe it because, Peter O'Toole, Malcolm McDowell, John Gielgud, and Helen Mirren, of course, she was just starting, so it wasn't like a big
Helen
deal.
Mirren was actually one of the few
She loved it.
actors that stuck up for the film.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, she was saying how more films should show flesh and nudity.
Yeah, that shocked me. I didn't know about her. And she said, it's an irresistible mix of art and genitals.
True or false, Deb?
Yeah.
The scene where Caligula, who's played by Helen Mirren, gives live birth to Caligula's baby was real and took place with 3 pregnant women shot from different angles. And actual doctors were playing the roles as actors in this scene. True or false?
True.
False!
I have it down as true.
No, comment that was that.
I have it right
cinematic
here.
myth. People said that, but as
Okay.
people on the set said, that did not happen, and that was only one of those urban legends.
Well, I don't want to contradict you, but I have here 3 different angles, 3 different births, extras assisting the birth through real doctors, equipped with modern tools that would need to ensure safety from the women and babies, despite they were in full ancient Roman clothing.
And in the scene, Caligula gives birth, and you see everything, but.
So
I
who
think-
knows?
Well, according to the people that are on the set, it never happened. It could have been a marketing ploy to get more people.
I think, you know what? I'm going to give you that.
Everyone hated it,
I'm
but
gonna
people
give you
went to
that.
see it. This is shocking all around. An audience, this one's for you. Let me get your opinion on something. Helen Mirren's in the film. That shocked the crap out of me, and how she appeared nude. Sir John Gielgud, all these major players in this porn, NC-17, whatever you want to call it, X-rated film.
Exactly.
What actors or actresses did you see in a film that you were shocked when you saw it, that they actually did that role? So comment below, tell us the actor, tell us the film, and let us know.
Well, my watch list is all dealing with aberrant sexuality, and aberrant means not of the norm. And number 1, and this is something people should see because I want to get you into different European directors. Fellini's Satyricon, 1969, a series of disjointed mythical tales set in 1st century Rome. Fellini's most visually engaging film through a tapestry of decadence in Rome. The story of 2 young men as they venture through the empire, indulging in heterosexual and homosexual exploits. Great movie. Number 2, Nymphomaniac from 2013, Volume 1 and 2, Joe. A self-diagnosed nymphomaniac recounts her erotic experiences to the man who saved her after a beating. Directed by Lars von Trier, you've heard of him, starring Stellan Skarsgård and Charlotte Gainsbourg. Number 3, Everybody saw this and loved it, I think. Boogie Nights from 1997. An idealistic porn producer played by Burt Reynolds aspires to elevate his craft to art when he discovers a hot, young talent played by Mark Wahlberg. An immersive dip into the world of the 70s and porn industry and music. Number 4. Hard to find, but I Am Curious Yellow from 1967. Told in a quasi-documentary style, this companion piece to I Am Curious Blue in 1968 dealt with topics such as class, society, nonviolent resistance, sex, relationships, and tourism. It's an important film because it caused such a sensation in the United States. It was a Swedish import banned in the U.S., but after a highly publicized court battle, it went to theaters and everyone ran to see it. Very mild by today's standards. And this last one, you're going to die because it doesn't seem to fit, but I'm putting it in. Spartacus. From 1960, a fantastic film directed by Stanley Kubrick. The slave Spartacus survives brutal training as a gladiator and leads a violent revolt against the decadent Roman Republic. Laurence Olivier and Tony Curtis have a snails and oysters dialogue, which is referred to in the annals of homoerotic filmdom. And that's my watch list.
Well, while we put the genie of controversial and sexually related movies back into the bottle, Debbie, where are we going next?
Joe, we never know where we're going until we actually go there.